so sorry.
Let's go.
Right?
Will you marry me?
There's my beautiful bride-to-be. It's wedding time.
Tucker, what are all those?
I picked up every bridal magazine that I could find. So you can get started on picking out your dream gown. We gotta pick our theme so that we can hone in on our vision for our nuptials. That will make it easier for us to pull together all the flowers, the invitations, the color palette, the menu, and even the music.
But when is this not getting tied?
I don't know. We haven't really...
July 4th weekend.
Wow.
Dude, is this a joke?
Where to?
I'm not a child.
Fuatana tu, wakuchukue tena.
Dad, just let a girl breathe.
Yani, hapa kwangu ndio ulikuwa unajigamba kwa simu, you are very busy.
Just greeting Sky. You know that she's an old friend.
Hautampata popote. Ebu, get out of my compound.
When have you been the type to fall back?
When your life is on the line, you have to, Mom.
You're now thinking.
Pole nimekaa sana kufikiria. Who abducted my daughter?
What?
You are protecting the abductors.
I don't want to start digging covered bruises.
Nobody touches my blood.
I knew I married you for a reason.
Today's conversation is on understanding the autism spectrum disorder.
Autism is a condition that usually affects, one, the development of speech and language skills.
He had some, he was behaving like a loner.
Yeah.
You know, language was not developing. And now he had gone quiet.
He would communicate by pointing whatever it is that he wanted. Then he would really keep to himself.
Then all of a sudden, if she was taking corners in the house, she would close her eyes, then gauge what's the lighting in that room before she opened her eyes. Then she went mute on us.
To encourage parents to focus on early intervention.
So please don't walk this journey alone.
At the end of it all, they are first and foremost children who grow up to be awesome adults.
Good evening and welcome to Easy Friday, your ultimate wrap-up to what promised to be an amazing week. We do have an amazing news lineup for you this evening, Kago.
Absolutely, plenty lined up. And thank you, by the way, for choosing us tonight. We are keeping a close eye in Wajir, the Kala-azar disease that has so far claimed 25 lives. This is a disease that's mainly affecting children. The infection rate so far standing at 600. Details coming up. And across borders, President William Ruto appoints former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as a special envoy to the South Sudan crisis, even as tensions continue to rise there, as the first Vice President Riek Machar is still under house arrest. We have business tonight and sports later on. But first things first, Caren, you have the highlights.
Yes, here are the highlights. The death toll from Kala-azar disease outbreak in Wajir County rises to 25, with infection numbers escalating to over 600. Giving in silence, we tell you how the Muslim World League quietly paid 129 million shillings to save Steve-O, a Kenyan, from execution in Saudi Arabia. President Ruto launches an initiative aimed at transforming refugee camps into integrated settlements. And on the savage netizens tonight, focus is on a week that saw blessings rain on Atwoli and blows rain on MP Salasia. This is Easy Friday. My name is Karen Kibbett.
My name is John Kago.
Our sign language interpreter this evening is Lucy Mora. We proceed. President William Ruto has called for responsive and durable solutions to the increasing number of asylum seekers in the region and especially in Kenya.
While speaking at State House here in the capital during the launch of the Shirika plan, Ruto said that even as Kenya continues to open its doors to refugees, there is need to develop resilient models to ensure they feel at home while at the same time integrating them with the host communities.
The head of state used the event to call for urgent measures to end conflict in the region to reduce the number of asylum seekers.
Friday at State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto presided over the launch of the Shirika plan, an initiative aimed at transforming refugee camps in Turkana and Garissa into integrated settlements. The plan's key objectives include redesigning camps into integrated municipalities, mobilizing financial, technical and material support to ease the burden on host communities, as well as provision of government services to refugees while fostering socio-economic inclusion.
This has nothing to do with whether or not refugees can become citizens of Kenya. Citizenship for the Republic of Kenya is defined by law and the Constitution. It has nothing to do with how we manage our refugees. The reality is that the refugees have been in this country since independence.
Many countries have been built with the inputs and ideas of people who necessarily did not originate from those countries. Many inventions, many ideas that have shaped certain societies have been developed by people who have found themselves in other countries other than the countries they were born.
According to the president, the Shirika plan is purely an initiative by the Kenyan government.
It became obvious to us that containing refugees in camps, people who could, many of them could possibly have ideas, they are knowledgeable, people who could deploy their energy, expertise, and resource into the development of the country was not the best way to relate with the refugees.
He said that through integration of refugees and host communities, tensions that have been building up for years will reduce due to harmonized living conditions.
And therefore it became necessary for us to rethink the way the host communities were relating to the refugees and the need to harmonize that relationship by harmonizing the conditions that the refugees lived in with the conditions that the host communities were experiencing. As I speak to you, more than 70,000 refugees are enrolled for universal health coverage under the Social Health Insurance Fund, while IDs for refugees are recognized by the Integrated Population Registration System.
Even as Kenya maintains an open-door policy for asylum seekers, the head of state called for ceasefire in countries such as South Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo and Somalia to reduce the number of people fleeing their countries. Meanwhile, governors from Turkana and Garissa have called for improved conditions for communities that have hosted the refugees for over 35 years as appreciation for their hospitality.
Our people on the ground are looking forward from as host communities to get some compensation for the many and huge sacrifices that have given out to the refugees for the last 30 plus years.
There is a need actually for us to continue sensitizing and also capacity building the people so that they understand the document properly.
Kenya is currently hosting over 800,000 refugees. Nancy Okware, Easy Friday.
All right, then now President William Ruto has appointed former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as his special envoy to South Sudan to mediate rising tensions following the arrest of first Vice President Riek Machar and his wife.
Speaking at State House in Nairobi, President Ruto emphasized Kenya's commitment to contain instability in the region. This move comes amid fears that the escalating political crisis could destabilize the fragile peace in the country.
Well, following that arrest, Machar was placed under police custody alongside his wife, Angela Teny, who is the country's Interior and Coordination Minister.
This is the situation in South Sudan. The escalating political crisis leaving many in South Sudan desperate. In a significant diplomatic push, President William Ruto has appointed former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as special envoy to South Sudan, tasked with helping pacify rising tensions between President Salva Kiir and first Vice President Riek Machar.
We are deploying all the assets that we have to contain instability in different parts of our region. Just this morning, I have sent the Honorable Raila Odinga, our former Prime Minister, to South Sudan because there is a situation that could lead to export of more refugees from that country unless it is contained.
The latest development follows the arrest of Machar and his wife Angelina Teny, who is also the country's Interior and Coordination Minister, escalating fears of a breakdown in the 2018 peace agreement that ended the country's 5-year civil war.
We have a robust conversation on containing the situation in Sudan. So we are doing what we can as Kenya, working with partners and regional mechanisms to see to it that we contain situations that could lead to people seeking asylum and leaving their countries because of instability and other challenges that countries face.
Odinga's mission is to deliver Ruto's message to both Kiir and Machar and to engage with other regional stakeholders involved in efforts to de-escalate the crisis. This situation comes after weeks of violent clashes between Machar's forces and the South Sudan People's Defense Forces near the capital, Juba. The arrest of Machar and the detention of his key allies by government forces have further strained the already fragile political environment. In response to these tensions, President Ruto engaged in a phone conversation with South Sudan's President Salva Kiir, following which he dispatched Odinga to Juba. Regional leaders and bodies, including the African Union, have called for restraint as they work to prevent the situation from spiraling into full-blown conflict. Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
Moving on, the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, SUPKEM, has confirmed the payment of 129 million Kenya shillings to Saudi Arabian authorities for the release of condemned Kenyan national Stephen Munyaho, also known as Abdul Karim.
Well, according to SUPKEM National Chairman Hassan Olenando, the money was paid to the Saudi Arabian government a month ago to save Stephen from execution.
Speaking to the press at SUPKEM headquarters in Nairobi County, the chairman further confirmed that the money was collectively paid by the Muslim World League, in which SUPKEM is a member.
The 50-year-old Stephen Munyaho, also known as Abdul Karim, was a warehouse manager in Saudi Arabia. He is said to have engaged in a fight with his colleague Abdul Halim Mujahid Makrad Saleh at his office on 9th April 2021. The fight led to the victim's death. Sentenced to death or pay 129 million shillings to escape execution as demanded by the victim's family, Stephen's family was condemned to fate. At least the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, SUPKEM, has confirmed the payment of the 129 million shillings to Saudi Arabian authorities for the release of Stephen Munyaho.
Steve was deserving of the Muslim World League intervention.
Hence, the authorization to pay the $1 million compensation demanded by the victim's family in order to save Steve from execution.
According to SUPKEM National Chairman Hassan Olenado, the money was paid a month ago. SUPKEM says the money was paid through the Muslim World League, in which the institution is a member.
As we speak today, I have been reliably informed that the victim's family has received the money and is now in the hands of the authorities of the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to process Steve for release.
Munyaho's execution had initially been scheduled for May last year, but the Kenyan Foreign Affairs Ministry successfully negotiated a postponement to allow further discussions involving diplomats and religious leaders, which have now bore fruit.
The Ministry of the Foreign Affairs, through the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and the Principal Secretary Dr. Korir Singoe, for the guidance and back office that enabled us to be where we are today as far as Steve's case is concerned.
Death toll from Kala-azar disease in Wajir County has risen to 25, with infection numbers escalating to over 600, with the majority being children.
Well, subsequently, the government has stepped up its response measures to arrest the situation by launching mobile laboratories that will aid in early diagnosis and detection for the treatment of the disease.
The move will also aid in decongesting the overwhelmed health facilities.
Months after the outbreak of Kala-azar disease in the northeastern county of Wajir, death toll has risen to 25, with new infections being recorded. Currently, 106 people are receiving treatment at various health facilities in Wajir County, with severe cases being handled at the county's level 4 hospital.
Most of the patients are coming to this main referral hospital because we have few test kits. And remember, as I had said earlier, the test kits are not locally available, they are few. So instead of distributing to all over other areas, we decided we bring most of the patients who are severely ill to Wajir County referral hospitals.
As part of the contingency measures, the county has been spraying homes in areas where the infection has been on the rise. To boost the efforts of the county in containing the disease, the Ministry of Health, led by Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni, on Friday flagged off mobile laboratories for the northeastern county that will not only aid in early diagnosis and detection, but also relieve the overwhelmed health facilities in the region.
We already have numbers of medical personnel who are in Wajir County and Marsabit County to support the teams that are on the ground. Commodities for laboratory, diagnosis and medicine are also being provided.
As part of the support, the PS also assured of funds released from the National Treasury to aid in combating the menace.
We have come together with development partners who have been able to assist us with drugs and other commodities. The National Treasury equally has released some funding that is going to assist us to add the commodities that are going to these counties.
Opicho Chemtai for Easy Friday.
Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo has reaffirmed the government's commitment to modernize infrastructure here at Kenya Broadcasting Corporation to enhance the state broadcasters' mandate.
Speaking when he led a delegation from the Romanian embassy to tour KBC facilities at Broadcasting House, Nairobi on Friday, CS Kabogo hinted at the government's intention to forge a partnership with stakeholders aimed at digitizing all departments within KBC.
With the broadcast sector in the country currently experiencing exponential technological growth, the government says it is keen to equip the national broadcaster KBC with necessary infrastructure to ensure it remains competitive.
We would want to reorganize Kenya Broadcasting Corporation and make it a world-class standard of a broadcasting station. And we shared this with the businessmen from Romania, and we decided to come and have a look so that at least they have a view of what it is that we are saying.
Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo has revealed ongoing talks with Romanian investors keen to collaborate with the government in rejuvenating the state broadcaster.
And of course, one of the most important challenges that we want to deal with their expertise, is how to digitize our archives. You know, our history from the 50s is in some basement here, and we would want to bring it up to digital format, and hopefully without losing a lot of that information.
Kabogo spoke after leading a delegation from the Romanian embassy.
The other thing that we are almost closing in on is on the issue of cybersecurity, because as you know, Romania is #1 in the world in terms of cybersecurity.
Most studios right now have the robotic cameras. On a tour of KBC facilities at Broadcasting House, Nairobi on Friday, Romania's ambassador to Kenya, Gentiana Serbu, termed the tour as an important eye-opener to the country's investors. The ambassador expressed satisfaction at Kenya's willingness to enhance bilateral cooperation with Romania in the technology sector.
So we expect a good partnership, a very fruitful partnership with Kenyan authorities, also with broadcasting. So we hope to have good projects and to come next time to tell you about the results.
Beautiful. Moving on. Alamitu Guyo Jatani, the spouse of Marsabit Governor Ali Mohammed, has denied claims of being involved in an 8.2 billion Kenya shillings fraud in Marsabit County.
Well, appearing before the IEBC selection panel, Jatani stated that she was aware of the operation that saw a brief arrest of her husband and former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuru Yatani, but denied being arrested.
Registrar of Political Parties Anne Derutu also made her case as interviews for IEBC commissioners entered the second day.
It is the arrest of the former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuru Yatani and Marsabit Governor Ali Mohammed in April 2024 of an 8.2 billion shilling fraud that came to haunt Alimantu Guyo Jatani, the spouse of the Marsabit Governor, as she sought to be an IEBC commissioner.
Officers from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission visited our home. The officers identified themselves and they gave me a letter addressed to His Excellency Mohammed Ali, who is my spouse.
Jatani denied claims of being involved in the scandal that saw residents of the devolved unit lose billions.
The lead officer assured me that I was not under arrest. I was not under investigation. All I needed is to sign for the inventory in the absence of my husband.
Appearing before the IEBC selection panel, Jatani was put to task to explain 3 petitions that were brought before the panel, asking the Dr. Nelson Makanda-led team to reject her candidature due to integrity issues.
As far as we are concerned,
there's nothing that is going on.
There's no case, whether criminal or economic, that is alive with you.
No.
The registrar of the political parties, Nderitu, also appeared before the panel. Nderitu defended her bid for commissioner despite being a state officer.
It is not possible to be partisan because all of you belong to you. You are the one who have registered them. You are the one regulating them. You have completely no interest. Registration of political parties, we have continued. Since I joined OLPP, I've registered more than 30. Political parliament. When the register had 63, we are now at 92.
Ahmed Sheikh Takoi from Mandera, Albert Nguma, and Ali Nur Hussein, who have served in IEBC in different capacities, and the chairman of the Kenya Secondary Head Association in the Mulikahi, also made their case before the 9-member panel.
2022 election, there was 2 distinct verdicts. A group that was headed by a chairman, and there's another group. So, to me, this is actually a fundamental challenge.
Now, good thing is we have now the KIMS
tablet, we'll be pushing to have that implemented, fast-tracked and implemented.
So that whatever decision you are taking, you're asking yourself whether it conforms with what the law says.
Every time the question of security in elections comes in, I am hurt by the fact that, I remember last election we lost my colleague, Abwana Musyoka.
Interviews for the IEBC chairperson and commissioners began on Monday, March 24th, 2025, and are set to run until Thursday, 24th April 2025. Abdiaziz Hashim for Easy Friday.
That report takes us to our first short break right here on Easy Friday.
Absolutely. More news lined up for you. We have business, we have sports as well. One of my favorites on Friday is the Savage Netizens. Talk of blessings, blows and goals. That's all coming up when we return.
Town Express! Twende bwana, town! Watu ya town, twende. Tabia hapo nyuma, bado haijajaa, dere, watu wengine 7.
Kwani wazako si ungekulia kwenu? Sasa umetoka wapi? Mimi sitaki mahindi leo.
Wewe unamchia mkate.
Siagushi mkate fubi.
Wewe ongea bora usiguze mkate yangu.
Sishike hivi. Wazako wasikulia huko mbali na mimi. Si mimi nakulamiwa ni wewe.
Donda, gari imejaa na bado unasema watu waingie. Tuambie ndare hapo apunguze wimbo. Niongee na kama hapa.
Hakuna volume inapunguzwa hapa. Kama unataka kuendesha gari yako, enda dial *570# option ya 3. Watu wanaendesha magari hapa nje na wewe bado unapiga nyenyenye kwa matatu. Option 3, unalipa ama unasuka.
Comfort yako iko kwa *570# option 3. Master Genio moja safi, reliable, modern safety and security features. Cheza mara kadhaa ujaze entry ticket zako kwenye draw ili uimarishe uwezo wa kushinda. Mshindi tunamtangaza 27th of April na gari tutakufikishia.
Wewe unaenda ama wewe?
Mimi siendi na madri, nishainuka na *570#.
Inuka na Genio kwa *570# option 3.
Asante.
We heard you. Tax amnesty is back. Kenya Revenue Authority is giving 100% relief on interest, penalties and fines for tax debts incurred up to 31st December 2023. Don't miss out. Take action now by settling your outstanding tax debt through easy-to-pay installments by 30th June 2025 and watch those penalties and fines for tax debts disappear. It's now or never to set your tax records right. Take advantage of the tax amnesty today. Terms and conditions apply. Kenya Revenue Authority, tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
Today's conversation is on understanding the autism spectrum disorder.
Autism is a condition that usually affects the development of speech and language skills.
He had some he was behaving like a loner.
Yeah.
Language was not developing, and now he had gone quiet.
He would communicate by pointing whatever it is that he wanted. Then he would really keep to himself.
Then all of a sudden, if she was taking corners in the house, she would close her eyes, then gauge what's the lighting in that room before she opened her eyes. Then she went mute on us.
To encourage parents to focus on early intervention.
So please don't walk this journey alone.
At the end of it all, they are first and foremost children who grow up to be awesome adults.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Fasting with diabetes requires special care. Be sure to regularly monitor your blood sugar levels and consult your doctor to ensure that fasting is safe for you. If you frequently experience hyperglycemia, meaning high blood sugar, or hypoglycemia, meaning low blood sugar, it is best for you not to fast. Additionally, if you start feeling weak or dizzy, it is safer for you to break your fast immediately. At suhoor, it is best to choose complex carbohydrates such as whole grains, oats, and brown rice, along with lean proteins such as fish, plain yogurt, beans and lentils to ensure your energy remains steady throughout the day. Ramadan is about prioritizing your health.
Welcome back. For those joining us right now, this is Easy Friday. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has urged learning institutions across the country to embrace science, technology, engineering and mathematics education to equip learners with the necessary skills relevant to the current job market.
Well, speaking during a prize-giving day at Kahuhia Girls High School, Ndende said investing in all the subjects in education is crucial in fostering innovation and the country's economic development.
His sentiments were echoed by Equity Bank Chairman Peter Munga, who challenged learners to stay on course in a bid to realize their dreams.
Where the world is going, the opportunities of the current world are opportunities around STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we must encourage our country not to be left behind when it comes to dispensations of the world. And that is why I want to encourage even the ministry and all the leaders that let us take STEM very seriously. And therefore, mathematics must continue to be a very primary subject in our learning institutions.
Parents, please give the reality to your children. So if you're coming to visit her today, just come the way you are. Don't go to Mshwari to come and convince her that you are okay. No, genuinely tell her, this is how it is, and you'll be my salvation if you work hard.
All right, then now let's cross over to the corridors of justice and the verdict in a case questioning the jurisdiction of the Judicial Service Commission to hear a case seeking the removal of judges of the Supreme Court will be delivered next month on the 25th.
This was announced by Justice Lawrence Mugambi, who was presiding over a case in which the Apex Court judges argue the Judicial Service Commission lacked legal authority to hear and determine a case against them.
Well, this comes as a section of legal pundits alleged a lacuna in law on the procedure of removal of Apex Court judges. Ruth Omboi has more details on this.
The cases which had been filed separately by a judge have since been consolidated and will be heard as one. The President of the highest court asserts that the power to remove a judge from office is defined in the Constitution, arguing that the Judicial Service Commission lacks the jurisdiction to hear and determine a case against them.
Your Lordship, there is no doubt that judges should not be victimized, or there should be no reprisals against judges as a result of their decisions.
Can there be a petition for removal of a group of judges? Or can a petition for removal of judges be a petition for removal of a judge as contemplated in the Constitution? So those are very particular questions.
And we have confidence that once a 3 or 5 judge bench is appointed, they will remain true to their oath of office.
However, in arguing their case, the complainants through their lawyers maintain the Supreme Court judges are not above the law and are subject to disciplinary process by JSC.
JSC is a creature of the Constitution, so it's not above the Constitution. And it is doing, my lord, a constitutional mandate. But the Chief Justice has just been sensational when she says that the question she's raising is whether the JSC is above the Constitution.
It's not automatic, my lord. There are tests for the court to satisfy itself. Upon satisfaction, my lord, if you do satisfy, then we will support the fact that the CJ can empanel. That is simply what we are saying.
The parties who appeared before Justice Lawrence Mugambi argued conflict of interest in selecting a bench to hear the case, arguing the Chief Justice, who is a member of JSC, is likely to be biased in selecting the bench to hear the case against her and other Apex Court judges. DCJ Philomena Muilu and Judge Mohamed Ibrahim cases are pending a ruling on 3rd of April before Justice Bahati Mwamui on whether the petitions raise weighty issues warranting an expanded bench.
The issues raised in the third petitioner's petition and all the rest provide a basis for which you should exercise your discretion and make an order for the matter to be referred to the CJ for the empanelment of an expanded bench.
The two petitions pending before JSC were filed by City Lawyer Nelson Navi and Christopher Rusana. With the debate of removing all the 7 judges of the Apex Court getting momentum at the High Court, some parties argue that there will be a power vacuum in the Constitution if all the 7 judges are axed. Ruth Wamboi reporting for Easy Friday from Milimani's Law Court.
Thank you, Ruth, for that report. Moving on, the government has declared Monday a public holiday to celebrate Eid Ul Fitri, which will mark the end of the holy month of Ramadan.
Well, this comes as Chief Qadi Abdul Halim Hussein called on the Muslim faithful to remain united and spread love. Our reporter in Mombasa, Ann Boru, has details of the festive spirit among the Muslim faithful, characterized by last-minute shopping.
This was the situation Friday at Markiti Market. The streets were busy with the last-minute shoppers preparing for the Eid Ul Fitri celebrations. Despite the festive spirit, both the sellers and buyers decried what they say is the high cost of living, hampering sales and spending habits.
Kila mwaka huwa ina shida yake, na kulikuwa na wakati wa corona, ilikuwa na problem ya corona. Sasa hii ni economy, sasa watu hawana pesa, lakini wanajaribu ila hali na mali wajaribu kuridhisha familia zao.
Lakini safari na sikukuu mambo magumu, maisha magumu. Hajua tufanye nini? Tayani sikukuu jibu inkuja tu, yani ile mradi, yani mambo ya Mwenyezi Mungu, lakini itabidi tukaani ile kushukuru Mungu tu basi. Lakini kama mambo ya pesa hakuna, maisha magumu, watu hatujui hata tufanyeje sisi.
Nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu, Ramadhani imetulia, na ingawa hali ni ngumu. Kweli hali ni ngumu, lakini Mwenyezi Mungu atuletea baraka zake inshallah. Na Mungu atatuwezesha tuifunge Ramadhani mpaka tuimalize inshallah.
At the same time, they have commended security agencies for keeping the peace and enhancing surveillance.
Alhamdulillah, usalama iko sawa, iko kabisa. Watu wa serikali pia ambao wanahusika na usalama wanaimarisha. Wale vijana wadogo ambao walikuwa wanasumbaga at least kidogo wamezidishwa ama wamejaribu kuzuiwa. Hata hajasikia kisa ambapo imetokea usalama, alhamdulillah.
So sisi ndio tuko hii area yote ya market kuanzia asubuhi mpaka jioni, alafu na usiku pia wako shift pia wengine wanaingia.
Meanwhile, the Chief Qadi Abdul Halim Hussein called on Muslims to support the less fortunate as per the teachings in the Holy Quran. He also urged the clergy to speak in one voice.
Kwa hivyo mashekhe wengine dogo ambao wamesoma sasa wasianze kuwachanganya wa Kenya katika Waislamu waumini katika masala kama hii. Wale watafuata mwandamo wa nje ni sawa, lakini sawa zaidi na wale ambao watafuata kiongozi wa dini hapa nchini Kenya, kwa sababu ni msimamo wa kuaminika unaozingatia kabisa asasi na dalili za Qurani zaidi na kwa maslahi ya umma wetu wa hapa nchini Kenya.
This comes as the government, through the Ministry of Interior, in a Gazette notice, declared Monday a public holiday to mark Eid Ul Fitri. For Easy Friday from Mombasa County, I am Ann Boru.
All right, then now moving on. Now, young people have been urged to take advantage of available resources to gain knowledge and tools to be actively involved in conversations that influence policy and governance decisions in the country.
Speaking during a forum organized by the Global Democracy Coalition, stakeholders noted that the young who make up the larger population in Kenya are a critical constituency that must be well equipped to safeguard gains made in democracy so far.
Look at the connection that democracy has with other themes such as climate change, environmental justice, as well as human rights.
We are sharing what the root causes are, why there is lack of democracy in some spaces. And the reason why this is important is because if you don't shape your future, someone will shape it for you.
There's a challenge, and these are the solutions that we are bringing in. These are the solutions that we are proposing. So it's a more, I would say to the youth, keep fighting, be respectful, and bring solutions to the table.
Imagine freedom, peace, justice for all. A society where that enables nurturing of talents and gifts.
Fight against corruption should not only be a lip service. If a corrupt person has been arrested, prosecuted, and taken to court, let us leave the courts to do their jobs.
Right now, calls for increased funding towards endometriosis programs featured prominently during a forum to create awareness of the condition that affects an estimated 1.2 million women and girls in the country.
Now, during the forum, women and girls were cautioned against downplaying intense pain during the menstrual cycle, as it could be a pointer to the condition. Our reporter Mary Yambo has the details of the condition.
Health players gathered at the Aga Khan University for a forum aimed at creating awareness on endometriosis. It is here that concerns were raised over the lack of adequate funding towards endometriosis, a condition in which 1 in 10 women and girls of reproductive age between 15 to 49 years in Kenya face. The condition is characterized by intense period pains. During the forum, Dr. Charles Muteshi said 70% of ladies with endometriosis experience a diminished quality of life and are likely to suffer mental health issues.
There's a very recent publication that has come out looking at the mental health aspect of endometriosis, and we are bringing in a different angle that patients who might have symptoms such as depression may actually have an underlying condition like endometriosis.
He said period pain should not be taken lightly.
So if you have period pains and they are persistent, they are causing distress, they're interfering with everything you could be doing. It could interfere with relationships and anything else. So that is not normal. So if you are experiencing pain that is distressing to any degree, then it's important to always see a doctor.
Founder of Endo Sisters East Africa Foundation, Doris Murimi, termed early diagnosis crucial to managing the disease.
Like myself, got my diagnosis after 33 years. Trying to get an earlier diagnosis as possible is the best chance of managing this disease.
She called for increased funding and support to create awareness. Endometriosis is characterized by severe period pain, bloating, migraines, lower pelvic pain, diarrhea during menstruation, and in some cases depression and anxiety, which can go beyond the menstruation period. Maria Ambo reporting for Easy Friday.
All right, then, and let's cross borders now. Some disturbing news of a quake, actually 7.7 magnitude, happened today. Hundreds are feared dead after that major earthquake hit central Myanmar. The 7.7 magnitude tremor was felt in several towns in Thailand and southwest China.
81 construction workers are reported to be missing after an unfinished high-rise building collapsed hundreds of miles from the epicenter in the Thai capital in Bangkok. Here are the details as search and rescue efforts go underway.
A state of emergency has been declared in multiple regions by Myanmar's ruling military after a 7.7 magnitude tremor hit central Myanmar. It is reported that hundreds are feared dead, among them 81 construction workers who are missing. The 81 were trapped in the rubble of a skyscraper that was under construction, which collapsed during the tremor. Bangkok Governor Chad Chan Sitipand confirmed 3 days at the building site. He warned of possible aftershocks but urged for calm. The quake caused the collapse of buildings in 5 cities and towns, as well as a railway bridge and road bridge on the Yangon-Mandalay Expressway. Strong tremors were also felt in Thailand and southwest China. The earthquake's epicenter was located 16 kilometers 10 miles northwest of Myanmar's city Sagaing, at a depth of 10 kilometers, which is 16 miles. This is near the city of Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city with a population of 1.5 million people, located 100 kilometers north of the capital. In Myanmar, there are reports of roads buckling in the capital in addition to damage to buildings across the country. A video also showed a rooftop pool in Bangkok spilling over the sides of a swaying building. Timothy Kipnusu for Easy Friday.
Now, stakeholders in the security and disaster management sector have raised concerns over what they say is increased public distrust of security authorities, which has significantly hampered the fight against crime in the county.
Well, as well, the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Services has opened its portal for the 2025 university placement. And in a statement today, the placement services are called on the 2024 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education candidates to apply for their preferred courses.
While inviting applications, KUPS stated that the application portal would remain open for 3 weeks, with the application window closing on the 21st of April 2025. Details of this and more in our county news roundup.
In a consortium that brought on board key players from the civil society, law enforcement and disaster management sectors, the stakeholders called for urgent reforms to bridge the trust gap as a key step towards alleviating crime and enhancing disaster management and control.
The public, to some extent, they do not trust the police. But if some of them, not all of them, of course, but if we can build a proper relationship between the police and the community, that will be awesome. And I think that will be one of the ways of building safety in our communities.
There is a solution that we are coming up with today. They'll be taken to government authorities and private sector so that all of us follow through and see the progress. And we shall be moving in counties to assess the resolutions met. Appealing to the President of Kenya to listen to us as stakeholders in safety and security. A step.
Meanwhile, Machakos County Government has unveiled a draft of county evaluation rule, which will help in driving up the devolved unit's revenue.
This data will form the basis for calculating how much tax property owners will pay for their property, as well as the amount of the county government collects in revenue to provide services.
Elsewhere, the Bunge la Mwananchi's leadership has accused a section of private entities of sabotaging the Railway City project, which is being undertaken by the Kenya Railways in partnership with the UK government.
Kuna mradi ambaye imeanziwa ambaye kwa financed by Great Britain na ikasemekana kwamba ni lazima tengeneze Railway City. Na hiyo Railway City kwenye process kuna watu kadhaa ambao wamejitolelea kama nataka kusabotage ionekane kama hakuna kazi ambayo anafanya. Kwa hivyo tunasema kwamba ikome na ikome kabisa.
And finally, in Bomet, the county boss Hilary Barchok has announced the construction of a modern bridge connecting Chepkosa and Tilangok villages. The initiative is set to address the dangers faced by locals due to the absence of a reliable crossing bridge, a grievance voiced by communities for years.
Through the support of the county government of Bomet, we have been able to budget for the construction of this bridge. The construction will run for 2 financial years, 2024-2025, and then it will be completed in the financial year 2025-2026.
Hii mto wakati wa masiga hufurika sana.
na daraja likijengwa hapa litakuwa kitega uchumi kubwa, kwa sababu tuna chuo cha ufundi hapa Kapkelei.
John Kahiro, Easy Friday.
All right, and on to my favorite part of Easy Friday. I love to call it the savage netizens. And is a delayed blessing equal to a denied blessing? Well, certainly not. At least going by Francis Atoli, who left the keyboard warriors mesmerized after he received a bundle of blessings.
But while blessings were raining on the grandfather of Kenyan workers, blows were raining on the ever-smiling Peter Salasia as he witnessed goals rain in the Harambee Stars match. Details on tonight's episode of The Savage Netizens.
It was about the rain of the blows and the rain of the goals. Enjoy The Savage Netizens.
Here is Tess with that report.
It's people's personal business that makes the news for the netizens. So whose personal business was on the line this week?
After 7 years of waiting on his knees,
sisi hatuna nguvu. Sisi hatuna nguvu yoyote. Sisi hatuna uwezo.
Blessings finally came knocking on the door of the worker number 1 and his lovely wife.
Wengi watafunja radio zao, wengine watafunja television. They will not believe. They will not believe. They will not believe.
And keyboard warriors celebrated in their unique way. A bouncing baby boy is finally delivered unto thee.
Yes! Yes!
Some criticizing the man for doing it at an advanced age, while others took home a lesson worth implementing way into their future.
Musitishwe! Musitishwe! Be fearless! Be fearless! Be fearless! Be fearless!
So, will he have time to raise the young one?
Nataka kukimbia, niwapeleke nyumbani kidogo wapate soda. Mtaona nikipita hapa naenda Nairobi, naingia ndege nyingine kubwa naenda Brussels, Belgium. Natoka huko hiyo 19th na ndege mimi ndio huyo niko Mombasa.
Some netizens taking time to quarrel over who exactly delivered.
Shanzi sana. Get out! Toka nje! Toka nje!
Some keyboard warriors asking, na mtoto anasemaje?
Allah! Allah! Allah!
Well, congratulations to the couple. Keep it up there. Let's jump on to Peter Salasia's drama. So what happened at Nyayo Stadium, PK? And how exactly did the violence occur? What an unfortunate turn of events for the ever-smiling Member of Parliament for Mumias East. But at least he is convinced that netizens love him.
And within a short period of time, the video that I posted, it got to 1 million, 1.5 million, just few minutes, few hours. That means that Kenyans loves me.
But after Salasia had been thrown out, more drama unfolded for a bird was brought into the stadium.
Karibu Kanairo, karibu Kenya. Kujani kushoba koza wa Kenya.
It looks like the fans were making space for the birdie. Well, how about we welcome the weekend as warmly as this bird was welcomed?
Minister of Enjoyment, it's a continental, monumental. Go live forever.
Well, that's it for us. Catch you next week on Savage Netizens. For Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
Minister of Enjoyment.
sisters happened to go to her friend's place for a sleepover.
Yeah.
And she had gone there for a sleepover as well.
Then from there, you see everything was flowing. They're like, you see that pulling, and I'm like, oh my God, what's this? What's this?
What's so special about that specific date?
He knows how to treat a woman.
Oh, really?
It made me feel so special, like the princess.
Are you not thinking this man is moving too fast? Is it not scaring you?
I was.
Yeah.
But again, you see, with the qualities,
Yeah.
you are like, asichukuliwe na mwingine nikapoteza bahati.
Who's most likely to forget an important date?
Hassan.
Yeah. Who's most likely to win an argument?
You're making me blush.
Oh, no.
For the rest of my life, I'll be with you. I'll stay by your side.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Fasting with diabetes requires special care. Be sure to regularly monitor your blood sugar levels and consult your doctor to ensure that fasting is safe for you. If you frequently experience hyperglycemia, meaning high blood sugar, or hypoglycemia, meaning low blood sugar, it is best for you not to fast. Additionally, if you start feeling weak or dizzy, it is safer for you to break your fast immediately. At suhoor, it is best to choose complex carbohydrates such as whole grains, oats, and brown rice, along with lean proteins such as fish, plain yogurt, beans, and lentils to ensure your energy remains steady throughout the day. Ramadan is about prioritizing your health.
All right, then welcome to Easy Friday Business. Now, this year's edition of Connected Africa Summit will focus on job creation, harmonization of digital laws, connectivity, trade, and emerging technologies. Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo is urging the sector players to develop mechanisms to address challenges facing the industry. The annual Connected Africa Summit 2025 will take place in May in Kwale County.
The Kenya National Digital Master Plan 2022-2023 and the recently launched Kenya National Artificial Intelligence Strategy 2025-2030 are some of the policy directions guiding the country in efforts to build the nation's digital economy. However, gaps still remain in implementing policy.
To unlock the full potential of our digital economy, we must ensure that technology adoption translates into sustainable development, economic opportunities, and social progress for all.
At the Connected Africa 2025 Investors Conference in Nairobi on Friday, issues such as the need for supporting local startups, strengthening cybersecurity, and harmonization of digital laws across the region and beyond took the center stage.
The African Union Digital Transformation Strategy 2020-2030 sets an ambitious vision to establish a simple digital market that enhances digital trade, entrepreneurship, and financial inclusion across the continent.
The ICT Authority is set to host this year's Connected Summit 2025 in Diani, Kwale County. The event will take place from May the 25th to 29th. Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo says the government will work with the private sector to address the challenges and opportunities in the ICT sector. The meeting will bring together policy leaders, technology pioneers, investors and industry captains.
We'll have an opportunity to also, as indicated earlier,
to craft some of the areas that we can be able to create solutions for government together.
I see lots of opportunities for those who are doing different things within the digital space to come into an event such as this and connect with organizations that are similar-minded like them.
Discussions will focus on how emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, cloud computing, and climate technologies can accelerate transformation across sectors such as education, healthcare, manufacturing, and sustainability. Alan Auko, Easy Friday.
All right, then now our policymakers should develop a platform that will link innovators with potential investors to support them scale up. Association of Startups of Kenya CEO Mercy Kimalat says there is need for collaborations and partnerships to raise capital to commercialize startups and make Kenya a regional startups hub.
The startup ecosystem in the East African region is valued at 904 billion shillings. Global investors have invested 258 billion shillings in the startups over the last 3 years. The investment could drastically increase if a platform is created for small and medium-sized enterprises to showcase their products and businesses to attract business partners and secure markets.
Having a platform where startups and SMEs are going to showcase their innovations and also create platforms for them to connect with other innovators to really enhance their innovation.
Innovators have been challenged to tap business opportunities through cross-border partnerships.
That the SME faces is actually access to talent. So because they cannot be able to afford the best talent within the organization, then the ESO would now come in and actually help them to pair them with another organization where they can resource share different talent or skill sets that can help the organization to grow.
They also challenge institutions of higher learning to establish incubation hubs to support startups in their entrepreneurial journey.
We're seeing a more integrated ecosystem working together, meaning that we are now having the incubators also working with hardware innovators, being able to provide diversified services that an entrepreneur can actually achieve a full array of services in just one organization.
They called for policies that will foster innovations to reduce technology imports and create local jobs. Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
All right, now small and medium-sized enterprises in the leather value chain will access affordable chemicals, accessories, and raw materials under a new 4-year leather value chain strategy in the Comesa region. Our Industry Principal Secretary, Dr. Juma Mukwana, says the proposed establishment of a centralized trade house will address bottlenecks in production, procurement, and also boost trade.
Despite having 11% of the world's cattle, 12% of sheep, and 18% of goats, the Comesa region exports most of its hides and skin, raw or in semi-raw form.
Primarily, we're trying to develop value chains from the entire production line, from the tanning to actually finished products, by supporting especially local manufacturers so that we stop exporting raw materials or raw hides and skins.
The Leather Value Chain Strategy of 2025 to 2029 proposes the establishment of a centralized trade house that will, among others, support small and medium-sized enterprises as well as large manufacturers meet bulk orders and create a centralized supply system that benefits industry players.
What we want is Africans to consume and use products that are made in Africa. So you can almost say, buy Africa, build Africa.
As Africa, we need to produce for Africans. And as Africa, we are the investors. As Africa, we are the consumers. So the future of Africa lies in us Africans, utilizing our resources to create optimum value.
They challenged Comesa member states to prioritize regionally produced leather footwear for the uniformed personnel to guarantee market access, attract private sector investment, and enhance regional industrialization. Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Inuka na loto moto. Sasa kwa star 570 hash option ya 4 kuna kashamba juja na nika 50 by 100 worth 1.7 million Kenyan shillings. Na hii si shamba tu, iko kwa prime location, few minutes from Juja town. Stima yako iko ndani, na kama ni development rapid and so promising. Na mambo ya landlord, mwisho wa mwanzo ni hapa. Ukishinda hili shamba tunakuongeza 1 million Kenyan shillings ujijengee nyumba yako kwa shamba yako. Kuinuka na loto moto ni kucheza sasa hivi kupitia star 570 hash option ya 4 au register deposit na ucheze sasa hivi kwa www.tushinde.com na ujishindie shamba hili na addition of 1 million Kenyan shillings. Inuka na loto moto.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tutajifunza kuhusu ukuzi wa cricket. Kisha tuangazie kilimo cha black soldier fly, yaani inzi chuma.
Mimi hulea BSF. Wadudu wenyewe ndio hawa. Huwa nawalisha avocado, machungwa, nyanya na hata melon.
Usikose kujumuika nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 upate uhondo kamili.
We want to look at this conversation of generational gap. It's something that has been outside there. In the political circle, many things have happened. Also in church, we've had those complaints.
Now we have a group of young people that are everything different.
Wow.
From how their parents were when they were young. Because we have so much freedom. And sometimes when freedom is too much, it can be abused.
That's right.
And they usually say actually true freedom has limits. So let's give honor to those that are due honor. It doesn't mean I agree with you. It doesn't mean that I say yes to you. It says we may disagree, but respectfully.
Wow.
All right, then welcome back. This is Easy Friday Business. Now, Fresh Produce Consortium CEO Jepat Okisegere says horticulture exporters have a month to register with the new force called the MOTH protocol or risk losing the European Union market. Here is Benson Rioba with the details.
Kenya exported cut flour worth 72 billion shillings in 2024. Players in the flour subsector project the volume could reduce if Kenya is not declared force calling moth-free to continue accessing the European Union market that imports 80% of Kenya's produce. To conform to the European Union market standards, Kenya has created a force calling moth protocol for flour exporters.
Have a technical protocol that we need people to understand, even for the public. What does it mean to Kenya to export flowers after 26th of April?
Farmers have until 26th of April to be registered.
People are panicking that we are not going to export. No, we are going to export. The question is under what conditions, because it's a regulation within the EU that we are not going to revise tomorrow, because it's within the jurisdiction of the EU to regulate their space.
The program involves retraining of farmers on the pest control strategies as the European Union market tightens regulations.
Practices that will empower them to be able to manage their crop well and reduce the incidences of notifications on maximum residual levels, what we call the MRLs.
Or the international trading partners have had evolving regulatory requirements, and therefore the exporters are always working to ensure that there is compliance in addressing the issues.
Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
All right, then now young people here in Kenya are being challenged to venture into smart agriculture as a means of generating income. The Kenya National Farmers Federation says agroforestry is a potential agri-business avenue where the youth can earn decent income and contribute to conservation.
The Kenya National Farmers Federation says agroforestry is one of agriculture subsectors with a huge potential to create employment as well as ensure environmental conservation. In a bid to encourage more young people to engage in income-generating agroforestry activities, the Federation is undertaking a program to promote youth involvement in climate action through mentorship.
Growing trees is the way to go as a country because trees are really, they help restore back the ecosystems, they hold the soil together, and they are also habitat for our pollinators as farmers.
The International Fund for Agricultural Development through Agroforestry estimates annual income from higher yields alone could rise by up to 40,000 shillings per hectare, while diversified earnings from timber, fruits and other products may add 260,000 shillings per hectare over time.
As Kenafian is trying to encourage youth to be more involved in agricultural ventures, agribusiness ventures, and also to just mentor them to be able to sustain the agricultural ventures that they have.
Through the mentorship, the youth get involved in activities that enable them to experience the real agroforestry practices, which they can share with others.
These 3 sustainable agricultural practices, this is where youths need to emphasize most on, because it acts as source of employment as opposed to other traditional subsistence farming system.
They were speaking in Nakuru County during this year's International Forest Day.
All right, then now a number of savings and credit cooperative societies have started restructuring their books to accommodate losses from Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives. Baraka Yetu Sacco CEO Thomas Osoro says the Savings Society has made provisions to shield members. Now speaking during Baraka Yetu Sacco annual delegates meeting here in Nairobi, Osoro said this Sacco is diversifying its products to attract more members and grow the asset base by 25% by the end of this year.
Yeah, on the issue of Cusco, yes, SACCOs are invested in Cusco, but as prudence determines is we need to provide us FRS, we need to do provisioning, and we've done provisioning for the sake of stability. Yes, Cusco has allowed us to do provision, SASRA rather has allowed us to do provisioning depending on your asset soundness and liquidity soundness.
We also want to broaden our scope of membership, we want to draw our membership and focus more on the corporate sector. We want to bring corporate sector on board to boost our revenues and also the quality of the membership that is we have in our society.
In protecting the interests of our members and stakeholders.
All right, we have a whole lot of business stories that you can read on our website. That's www.kbc.co.ke. One of them is the good tidings from Family Bank, where they have reported 3.4 billion shillings in full year net profit, which represents a 38% jump. This was driven mainly by high interest income. Family Bank has proposed a dividend payout of 80 cents per share. More details of that on our website. And as we wind up business tonight, Kenya is set to export the first batch of organically grown coffee to the European market after securing relevant certifications for the shipment. Solidaridad Managing Director Rachel Wanyoike says 13,000 kilos of the cherry will be sold at a premium.
Have increased 12% in 2024 to 53,519 tons, earning 38 billion shillings. Players in the coffee value chain are encouraging farmers to embrace organic production to capitalize on growing demand. Solidaridad Managing Director Rachel Wanyoike says buyers in key coffee markets are now keen on sustainable and healthy production.
Pricing will differ
And you'll notice, unfortunately, because Kenya organic coffee, there's not a lot in the market. So while there are very good coffee prices at the moment, and our coffee farmers can attest to that, organic is slowly creeping into some of those margins.
A number of coffee farmers in Kenya were certified as growing the produce organically.
Being certified as organic is the thing that is essential. So as much as we're also saying we're transitioning into organic coffee farming, it is necessity for the certification.
All the others who have not attained that certification, there is every reason to go through that journey. Difficult as it may sound, but there is definitely benefit to it.
About 13,000 kilos from the farmers is said to be exported to the European Union market.
Main markets is typical Scandinavia, that means Denmark, Sweden, Norway, it's Germany for now, but we also see a lot of other European countries, they are asking for organic. And you need to remember that we're already producing organic coffee from Congo and Uganda, who is the high producers of those two products.
The biggest challenge right now is that we do not have enough volumes to sustain a product line because the volumes are still very, very, very small.
Value chain players hope the higher price of organically grown coffee will allow more farmers to embrace organic farming practices.
Jet A1, cheza aviator bila data bila credo. Dial *892# for instant takeoff. Pepea bila pressure kucrash au kucash out. Aviator bila data, aviator bila credo. Uko na kabambe, wewe pia ni rubani mnoma. Dial *892#. Jet A1, michezobet.com. Cheza kwa kuwajibika. Kushiriki ni miaka 18 au zaidi. BCLB license number 0000664.
Where to?
I'm not a child.
Fuatana tu, wakuchukue tena.
Dad, just let a girl breathe.
Yani, hapa kwangu ndio ulikuwa unajigamba kwa simu, you are very busy.
Just greeting Sky. You know that she's an old friend.
Hautampata popote. Ebu, get out of my compound.
When have you been the type to fall back? When your life is on the line, you have to, Mom.
You're now thinking.
Pole nimekaa sana kufikiria. Who abducted my daughter?
What?
You are protecting the abductors. I don't want to start digging covered bruises. Nobody touches my blood.
I knew I married you for a reason.
She was the brightest star of the circus. Until one day. She fell to earth, where she met some new friends.
You're not in the circus. You're in my sandbox now, clown. Keep away from me. You've got fleas. What are you talking about? Hey, she noticed us. Sweet.
Who taught her about bravery and the meaning of teamwork.
Let them go, huh?
Now you'll all be together. But when they're sent on a top secret mission,
forget who you are. Forget what you like and what you don't like. Any questions?
I have a question.
No questions, right?
Here we go.
Space Dogs.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. Now, after missing out on her first race in the ongoing World Masters Athletics Indoor Championship in Gainesville, Florida, due to late arrival, Millicent Ndoro made her intentions known in the 200-meter dash W35 category. Running in the semi-final of Heat 3, Ndoro registered the course record by sprinting in a time of 24.89 seconds.
A focused Ndoro took to the field by storm, running a well-calculated race by posting the best time ahead of the finals. Elizabeth Mudoka too ran well in her heat in the W50 category, finishing first but was thereafter disqualified following a lane infringement. All is not lost for Mudoka since she will be featuring the 400-meter W50 on Saturday. Daniel Kimeli Tanui gave his all in the discus event M60 category but missed out on a podium position. Tanui finished in 6th position by throwing 43.60 meters. The gold and silver medals went to Americans Victor De Marins and Paul Rosati, who threw the discus at 54.63 meters and 50.64 meters respectively. The bronze went to Robert Ingeblink from Germany. It's another busy day in Team Kenya's camp with 5 athletes taking to the field tomorrow. Millicent Ndoro will be featuring in the finals of the 200-meter dash with Eric Sikuku in the finals of the 3,000 meters walk. Kenya's silver medalist in the long jump will be trying her luck in the triple jump, while Daniel Tanui will be chasing a medal in the javelin event. Kenya's gold medalist in the 3,000 meters will be taking part in the 1,500-meter semi-final. So far, Kenya has bagged 4 medals, 2 gold and 2 silver, in the inaugural event that comes to a close on Sunday, 30th March 2025.
The Sports Cabinet Secretary Salim Mvurya has reiterated the government's commitment to developing and nurturing talent across the country. Speaking during a visit to the junior camp at Kasarani Stadium, Mvurya highlighted the government's ongoing investment in talent development. He also emphasized plans to expand the network of camps in various regions to better identify and foster emerging talent. The junior starlets are preparing for their 3rd round match against Cameroon in the 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers. So far, 10 players have reported to camp, along with the members of the technical bench, with more players expected to join soon. Kenya will host the first leg of the 4th of April before traveling for the return leg on the 25th of April. In addition to the qualifier, the junior starlets will play a friendly match against Morocco as part of their preparations for the crucial match.
On behalf of the government of Kenya, we are fully behind the starlets. We are also inspired and motivated because these are a team which is playing very well. They are disciplined, they are skillful, and His Excellency the President had committed to ensure that we begin to identify talents from grassroots.
The National Rugby Sevens team Shujaa will play France tomorrow morning in their 3rd pool match at the Hong Kong Sevens after winning 1 and losing 1 of the first 2 pool games. Shujaa began their 5th leg of the series in Hong Kong and with a comfortable 19-0 win over Spain before narrowly losing 12-7 to Great Britain. Kenya are 9th after the first 4 legs of the series with just 15 points, 17 points behind Great Britain, who are 8th on the 12-team table. Argentina are the current leaders on 68 points, 4 points ahead of Spain, who are 2nd, while Fiji are 3rd on 62 points.
Up to halfway, Ordo's with him. Davidson trying to work the tackle, and then
FC Talanta have put daylight between them and the relegation after beating Sofapaka 2-0 in one of the 2 FKF Premier League matches played today. Talanta, who began their game in the 16th position on the table, came into the match desperate for maximum points and went ahead as early as the 3rd minute through Bernard Odhiambo. Emmanuel Osoro added a 2nd goal in the 37th minute as they took a 2-0 lead into the break.
Talanta, lakini umalizaji wake haukuwa bora. Yupo mtaalam Kevin Owino Taiwo Jongo anakataa Dreadlock. Ni yule mwiba wa kudunga tu Emmanuel Osoro. Anafunga anavyotaka yeye ndani ya 18 ya timu ya Talanta, lakini umalizaji wake haukuwa bora. Yupo mtaalam Kevin Owino Taiwo Jongo anakataa Dreadlock. block. Ni yule mwiba wa kudunga tu, Emmanuel Osoro anafunga anavyotaka yeye.
That's it for the sports news tonight. I'm now joined by my colleagues, John Kago and DJ Cool Jacks. Kago, I know you love being on that side of the studio.
Of course, it marks the end of the first bit of Easy Friday, but I love this bit of Easy Friday because that's when we loosen up.
Yes.
And DJ Cool Jacks, take it away.
Yes,
what do you have for us tonight?
Yes, of course, tonight, unajua kama kawaida, every Friday after Easy Friday is all about the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. Tunaitanga disco funk. I have a little bit of Bobby Brown lined up, Cool and the Gang, Karen White. The list is endless. Still good vibes, man.
So Bobby Brown takes me back to, it was the husband to the late Whitney Houston.
Exactly.
Absolutely great stuff. Cool and the Gang, the lead singer, an amazing artist. And now I saw some Ray Charles in there.
There's some Ray Charles.
I'm about to hit the road, Jack. All right, really thanks. Enjoy the show. All right, enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is John Kago. Good night, so long.
And my name is Caren Kibbett. Our interpreter this evening has been Lucy Mora. DJ Cool Jacks, take it away. Good night.
Kupitia star 570 hash tunakupa nafasi ya kuchomoka na this beautiful Mazda Demio. Enjoy a beautiful clean semi-leather interior, low mileage, fuel-efficient 1300cc engine, great for personal use and business. Ukitaka kujishindia gari hii, kucheza ni rahisi sana. Chukua simu yako, bonyeza star 570 hash, chagua option 3. And for only 35 shillings, hii gari inaweza kuwa yako. Kumbuka kucheza mara kadhaa because the more you play, the higher chances